man, the tennis preacher, the prophet, the psychic, coming back at you again with another video. People, I'm catching up with the responding to people in the comment section. This is a comment. It's a very important, it's a very good comment to make a very good topic. I'm dealing with this getting this greatness stuff out of the way before I get back into the Madrid preview and everything. Okay. This is, I think this was from Stimpy Boy. That was the commenter's name, I think. Stimpy. Okay, hopefully I pronounced that right. Okay, Stimpy Boy says something very important. Okay? I mean, he said some true stuff, but his conclusion is not quite true. As much as I would love to agree with him, and y'all know I showed the Djokovic a lot of love, people. About a month ago, I was arguing with Federer fans and everything, telling them Nadal fans stayed out of the debate because they know how great the Djokovic was in his peak. But let me just say what Stimpy Boy said. Stimpy Boy said that Djokovic is the greatest ever, and he gave out the stats. Remember I told y'all that Djokovic blows up Wikipedia. He held all 4 titles at the same time on all surfaces. Nobody's ever done that. Okay, Rod Laver held all 4 titles at the same time, but they didn't have the hard courts when Rod Laver was playing. At least in the beginning of Rod Laver's career and in the middle, they did have hard courts at the end. So Rod Laver, he did hold all 4 titles, but he didn't hold it on the all surfaces the way that Djokovic did, okay? And the Djokovic has, so he won the most ATP points, over 16,000. Not even Federer did that when he was #1, man. The Djokovic, he beat the most top 10 players in one season. Blah blah blah. He broke records and records. I can't go through all of it. He held all 5 titles, not all 4. He held not only all 4 majors, he held the ATP finale too. So Stimpy Boy went through all that good stuff. And remember, I told y'all the Djokovic almost pulled off the Jesus Christ. The Jesus Christ is when, in a short period of time, I know 5 years, that's not a short period. If there was no Federer and Nadal, 5 years is a long time to do that type of high-level stuff that the Djokovic did. But people, here's the problem, and Stimpy Boy, I want to agree with you. And you know what, Stimpy Boy, if you made the Djokovic Museum and said that Djokovic is the best ever, is the GOAT, I would still go, even though I disagree that Nadal, and I'm finna say why Nadal and Federer are still greater than the Djokovic. Even now, listen, I did tell people, if somebody put the Djokovic in Nadal's category, I understand that. Okay, if somebody said that Djokovic is equivalent to Nadal, I get it, but I will put the Djokovic in Nadal's category, but I got Nadal over the Djokovic. But I mean, he may really be over the Djokovic if Nadal keep winning like he's doing right now. This one, listen, people. What Stimpy Boy is saying, man, I know, remember when the Djokovic in his peak, they were saying that Djokovic is the best they ever seen. Experts were saying this. People were saying, we don't care if the Djokovic hasn't played as long as Federer and Nadal. This guy is the greatest, man. He is the best. We never seen somebody so dominant. Even the Federer fan said that the Djokovic is the most dominant player. Even Federer fans saying that the most dominant player they ever seen. But people, listen, it's for its greatness. The reason why the Djokovic is not greater than Federer and Nadal. Check this out, people. If you know, if Stimpy Boy actually, he doesn't realize it. He answered the question in his comment. See, listen what he said. He said that Djokovic had the best 5 years ever. People, that's the problem. That's why he ain't the greatest, because he only got the 5 years. People, listen. See, here's the problem, is that if there was no Federer and Nadal and even Rod Laver, their high-level consistency is way beyond 5 years. People, listen, if you go outside of the Djokovic 5 years, he's not really great. He did one when he won a major in 2008, but he wasn't great outside of his 5 years. And so somebody would say, well, Magic Man, maybe his 5 years is so high. Maybe Stimpy Boy is right. His 5 years is so high that makes up for Federer's maybe 15 years, and Nadal's 12 years at the top. No. Here's the problem: is that y'all look at the way Nadal's playing now. Look at the way Federer's played the last 2 years. Is that outside of Federer's peak, Federer was still high level, people. He was still winning majors and stuff. Even in Federer's lowest days, he was still pushing it into the semifinals. In other words, Federer and Nadal's long-term consistency is still high enough to make up for the Djokovic's, how you say, just 5-year peak. In other words, if you took and add up, listen, people, listen. Nadal at the age of 18 years old, people, won the French Open. He already won a major, and so people, listen. The Djokovic, if I already said this, if he was able to extend that 5 years to like 7 years, definitely 8 years, he probably would have been the GOAT. But he only got five years. And people, listen, Nadal and Federer, outside of Nadal and Federer's 5 years, they still got high level. Look at Nadal and Federer at the age of 32. Look at Federer after the age of 30, still winning majors, man. And that right there is what keeps the Djokovic from being the GOAT, is that Nadal and Federer's long-term consistency is high enough to top that super peak that the Djokovic had. And here's another argument. Definitely Federer beats the Djokovic out here. The Djokovic's 5-year peak is not that much higher than Federer's 5-year peak. It's just a tad higher. And it could be even with Rod Laver. You listen, people, he barely beats Federer out. Barely. So if he barely beats Federer's 5-year period out, so they almost with the 5 years. And Federer, he does it. The Djokovic is no comparison to Federer outside of his 5 years. Because the Djokovic is not even great outside of his 5 years. Look at him now and look at him before 2011. He was very good, but he wasn't great. But Federer, man, Federer is great outside of 5 years. Okay, and super great. And also Federer has proven he can come back at the age of 36. That in itself kills the Djokovic. It prevents him from being greater than Federer. Just on Federer's longevity right now, at the age of 36, he's still winning majors. Okay, people? Okay? But like I said before, man, the Djokovic got close. He close. And like I said before, man, listen, the Djokovic had people saying he was the best ever. I mean, I have to give him credit for that. And if there was anybody, though, I will say this here, a Stimpy boy, that if there was anybody that could be the GOAT in a short period of time, it would be the Djokovic. He's probably the closest person ever that in a 5-year period, just 5 years, you can say, man, that guy's almost a GOAT. Okay, people? But no, Nadal and Federer got that long-term, high-level consistency. Not just long-term consistency. They got a high enough long-term consistency of 12 years or more that tops the Djokovic's 5-year peak. Okay, people? I think that sums it up there. Tennis preacher, prophet, psychic, signing off.
Ha ha ha.